Again, why does architecture tend to have these little knobs in most cultures for some reason, particularly on doors? This is perhaps the phoenix motif. This treatment is interesting because several panels, I'll just show them. Thank you. Here we're up close enough to get a very nice view of this parade of critters. We're getting a little tighter on these smaller ones. Lions, jackals, imaginary, mythological. Just another lovely opportunity to pan through a pretty view. I want to see what those little details are there on the banister. Okay, panning from the gate of Supreme Harmony again, up where the emperor would have walked. And up to the Hall of Supreme Harmony. It's interesting that in the Cambodian Angkor Wat buildings, they rise on tiers to the highest building. There it was to reflect the rising up to the highest mountain of their religious belief. I think you have to admit that that tiering, not to mention the foundational wall they're on, adds more clout to the height of the emperor's abode. These massive swinging doors. But what I find interesting here is the detail of the locking bar. Okay, now here's a subtle feature I'll bet's missed by most. And that is this line of white rocks. And I'm guessing that it was designed this way since some of the old rocks appear to have been purposely cut around it. So this is not a novel or a new idea. Did it provide some dimension? Of course. But for what? A religious dimension? Or is this as close as certain courtiers or others could get to the royal area? I don't know. Okay, here we have the same motif we had earlier, but in much better detail. There you can see that these are probably mythological amphibians in some kind of, perhaps those are representative of waves or something like that. I'm going to pan up and with my telephoto in the hopes that it can go where I can't. It's interesting, if this motif is water and those look like waves, that look like they're horses or some other kind of four-legged ungulate playing in them, but maybe they're not. This suggests that it is one carving. Huh. And here we have the same thing. Does look like it might be a horned animal though. No, maybe not. It's just got something floating back from its neck. It does look like a horse. It's too bad they don't not only clean these up but protect them, unless they're just worthless reproductions, such as the one on above us here. This looks like little bulbous reflections or representations of foam coming off of waves, you think? My guess is that these are elaborate incense burners. But yet, these handles have the same pass-through groove in that a beautiful blue large ceramic, not that large, had in the ceramics museum. But the handle may be a distinct artistic device in itself. Here we get a closer look at a restored or redone or remade gargoyle. And then here, if you'll excuse the pan, an older one. This is probably made out of some kind of soft sandstone. If it's an original, it may not be. On the other hand, this may be Jia Liang, which would be the grain measure, but this is an interpretive sign explaining that, but it refers to only one, doesn't give a picture of it, so I don't know what it is. Barricaded now, but this would have been where the emperor entered. I wonder if he had to use either the right or the left side going up or down, or he had his choice. I'm not trying to be funny. And this is where he would have entered by himself. Did anyone enter with him? His wife, his top concubine? And like some silly people do in museums, I'll read what the other person probably could read if they were standing there looking at it, or you could if I just shut up. Copper and iron vats were part of the firefighting equipment in the palace. They were filled with water to be used to douse fires. October to February every year, the vats were covered with quilts to prevent the water from freezing, and on very cold days they would be heated by charcoal fires. The oldest vats were cast during the 1488 to 1505 in the Ming Dynasty. These would appear to be the copper version, and they don't appear to be rusted or eroded like the iron ones. This is just an interesting view of and perspective of these tiers seen from above, looking down into a lower courtyard. Okay, what we were just looking at and could barely see for the crowd and the fact that it's not well lit is this, apparently, which was the throne seat of the king or the emperor. Again, quite well, I think, probably seen in the Last Emperor movie. On the far side of the building that my thumb is touching, in the same right-hand corner, in the shade, and now I'm going to walk to the Hall of Middle Harmony and on through the Hall of Preserving Harmony, which is the one that's next. The one in the middle was just for the purpose of the emperor hanging out before he went to the one where my thumb is. And there's the gate of heavenly purity. Notice the same slightly convex curved stone that the emperor would have walked on. And maybe the idea was when he walked on the center, he was always at the highest point. I don't know. I'm just making that up. I mean, if I were emperor, you know, I mean, that's what I would say. Same apparent motif. Ah, but we're down to 3 mountains.